Hello everyone, this is Tanya from Professor Tanya Speaks, and today we're going to be talking about the speech writing or the speech making process. In other words, the process that you have to follow from beginning to end in order to write and deliver the most effective speech. So if you're interested in writing speeches so that you can be brilliant and so that you can wow your audience, listen up. I have a lot to share today. So the first thing you have to do is analyze your audience so that you can tailor your message and so that you can ensure that what you say fits the needs of your audience members. I have a video here, a very short video, which tells you how to analyze your audience. That's step one. Step two, select a topic. Once again, I have another video here because it's very important that you don't choose a topic just because you like it. You have to choose a topic that will meet the needs of your audience members. And having analyzed them before in step one, you know a little bit about them in terms of educational background, socioeconomic status, age, gender, race, ethnicity, etc. Once you have a clue about that, then you can choose a topic that will meet their needs. Because remember, WIIFM, what's in it for me? When they listen, they want to know what you will do for them and how they will benefit. So ensure that you know who they are so that you can choose the most appropriate topic. Step three is decide on your speech purpose. Now, generally, there tends to be three purposes when it comes to public speaking. You're either trying to inform or persuade or mark a special occasion. So be very clear about your speech purpose, and that's step three. Now you're ready for step four, which is deciding on your overall thesis statement or your main idea or your central idea. Do not begin planning your speech until you are very clear about your thesis statement. And you should be able to put that in a sentence. Once you have the thesis, you're ready for step five, which is to come up with the three main points. Now, remember, in communication, we tend to prefer the rule of threes. Not two, not four, but three. So you have your broad thesis. Now you want to come up with three body points. So for example, let's say your thesis statement was, I believe tertiary education is valuable. That's your thesis. Now, the 3 points could be, I believe it's valuable because one, it gives upward mobility. Two, it helps to make you a more rounded individual. I'm not saying it does. These are just points, guys, okay? And three, it helps you to be better at your job, let's just say. So those are 3 points, but you want to be sure of what your 3 points are. So once you have your thesis, step five, come up with the 3 main points to support your thesis. Now, once you have your 3 main points, it's time to come up with supporting material for those 3 main points. Because you're a college student, you're a university student, whoever you are, if you are going to represent anyone, even yourself, you have to have credible information. So in order to support your 3 body points, number 6 now means you have to now find supporting evidence for your 3 body points. And I've done 2 videos on how to do research. So you want to make sure that you have credible sources for your 3 main points. So that's number 6. Find supporting evidence for your 3 body points. You have your thesis, you have your 3 body points, you found supporting material. Now it's time for number 7, which is write your outline. Now, I discussed the alphanumeric outline in this video, and I also mentioned the decimal outline, and I did say I prefer the alpha outline, But if you're a numbers person and you prefer to just go with the decimal outline, that's fine. But now it's time for you to write your outline so that you can begin to differentiate in your mind the difference between your main point, your supporting points, and your support of your support of your supporting points. So you never know, you may end up going from main point to support, to support, to support, to support. Whatever it is, you need to have an outline, because that will also help you when you're speaking. Because remember, the extemporaneous approach to speaking, where you speak without reading it all, is always preferred. But sometimes it's better to have that outline in your mind, because the graphical representation will help you when you're speaking. Now, once you have it worked out as a graphical representation, it will actually help you to remember. So that's step 7, write your outline. Once you have your outline for your body, now it's time to write your introduction. And we spoke about it in this video. It has to have 5 parts. That's the next step, step 8. Then step 9 is write your conclusion. And there's also another video for that. And we said that the conclusion must have 2 parts. So that's the next step. Once you have that, you're ready to begin to rumble. So let's talk about the next step. Okay, now at this point, you have what you think is a decent speech, but you have to be critical of yourself. Students don't like when they're criticized, but if you want it to be good and not average, then how about you being critical of the work before anybody else? A lot of times classmates are polite, or they don't want to hurt your feelings. But guess what? There is actually, I know when you were growing up, you heard good, better, best. That is for real. Good, better, best. Now, what you've come up with right now should be good. But good is not necessarily the best. So now it's time to take a step back and look at what you have done. And this is the point where you're going to now test to see if your attention grabber, your thesis, and your conclusion flow. Do they flow? And how you do that is remove everything else from the speech and read your attention grabber, then read your thesis, and then read your conclusion. If you can read the 3 and it makes perfect sense, and anyone listening to it would say, yeah, I got the message, I don't even need to hear the in-between. If that's the impact, then you're on the right track. If not, you need to go back to the drawing board and change. More than likely, you have to change the attention grabber. So I did a video on how to figure out if the attention grabber works. So you can also look at that. But you have to be critical of yourself. Does my attention grabber grab attention? Because it has to grab attention. And okay, it doesn't have to snatch us, but it has to pull us in. Where we want to hear, what's that? What? Hook us, pull us in, draw us in. If it's not doing that, you need to change it. And we spoke about, in this video, I spoke about the 3 best attention grabbers. Choose one. Choose one of the 3. Do not do anything else. Do not summarize. Do not just drift into the speech. Don't start with, my name is. Don't start with an apology. Grab our attention from the beginning. And if you do that, that's going to be a brilliant speech. But most times, the thesis isn't matching the attention grabber, and it isn't matching the conclusion. So do that. And once they match, you're good. You're good to go. That's the next step. Make sure that you test these three most important parts, if they coordinate, you're on the right track. If they don't, be hard on yourself, change them. And if you want a practical example of how to be hard on yourself and how to test and how to figure out if three of those three parts make sense, I'll have a video which you can look at and you can see if your introduction works. It's very important, guys. Your introduction is the most important part. Even if you have a brilliant body, if your introduction does not work, the speech is just going to be barely okay. So make sure it works. I cannot emphasize it enough. You have to spend the most time on that. When you're sure your body points are fine and when your conclusion is okay, and I really prefer if it's more than okay, you have to have a brilliant start. If you don't have a brilliant start, you're kind of on the way down. So start brilliantly and end triumphantly. And that will be a great speech. Okay, so I've lost track of the numbers, but I believe that was number 10, the testing of the thesis, the attention grabber, and the conclusion. So let's say it is number 10, and if it's not, forgive me. But if that's number 10, then number 11 means now it's time to add visuals. And the rule of thumb is make sure you need the visuals. Make sure the visuals will help to emphasize your content. I did a video, I did a short video, a 1-minute video on how to choose the right visual. You can always consult that. So that's step 11. Step 12 means now you're ready for the transitions. You have the speech, you're satisfied with the speech, you like your attention grabber, you have a clear thesis, you have brilliant body points. Now it's time to add the transitions. You're going to make sure that for the 5 parts in the introduction, there's a flow. You're going to make sure that you use words like however, more than likely, in addition to, in contrast. Moving on to the next point, I just told you about this, now let me tell you about this. In conclusion, you're going to make sure that all of those transitions are in. Because if the transitions are not in, then the speech is going to be choppy. It's just going to sound like da-da-da-da, 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 da-da-da-da. We want a flow. We want it to flow. So for it to flow, you have to make sure that there are transitions between each body point and each big point. So like there has to be a flow between sentences in the introduction, a flow between sentences in the body, a flow between sentences in the conclusion, and then a flow between the introduction into the body, and a flow between the body into the conclusion. So there are a lot of transitions, and that is step 12. Add the transitions. Once you have all the transitions in and the speech is to your satisfaction, now it's time for step 13, I guess it's 13 now, where you're now going to add the linguistic devices and all the bells and the whistles. So the pauses, the repetition, the alliteration, the personification, the metaphors, the similes, all of the nice things that will make it pleasing to the ear. And I will have a video, I haven't done it yet, but hopefully I'll have a video on how to add a few transitions and a few bells and whistles. And if nothing else, add pauses and repetition. Just those 2 additions will make a world of difference. I do have a video on where I spoke about pauses. I think I have 2 different videos, and I believe I also spoke about repetition, so I will have them. But I will do a video eventually on the different types of linguistic devices that you can add to make your speech pop. So you can look out for that. Now, once you've done all of that, the next step is practice, practice, practice. Practice, practice, practice. Because you have to be confident and you have to know your speech. You will not know it until you practice. And until you practice, you will not know the impact. You won't know how if something works or doesn't work. And if you want it to be brilliant, you have to practice. 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 Once you've practiced, then you are ready to give your speech. So I hope this was useful, and I hope you came away with a lot of new information and a lot of new strategies. So until I see you in the next video, bye for now. Keep practicing.